NSJT, no secrets, just truth, Jazrel Cavon. You will reach your destiny. You will reach the end of the dream that you live like a king and a queen. I say to you, be not afraid, for you are special indeed. The children of destiny, the outcasts of society, for the truth of reality. Generations, ancestors of past and old have given their life so that your life could matter. Now it's time to be changed. Now it's time to change. The world that you see, you are the beacon, the light, the lighthouse on the hill in the wilderness of darkness. Let your voices be heard, each one loud and proud.
I love being black. I love being called black. I love being an American. I love being a black American. But as a black man in this country, I think it's a shame that every few years we get a change of name. Since those first ships arrived here from Africa that came across the sea, there were already black men in this country who were free. And as for those who came over on those terrible boats, they were called nigger and slave and told what to do and how to behave. And then Master started tripping, doing his midnight tipping, down to the slave shacks where he forced he and great-great-grandma to be together. And if great-great-grandpa protested, he got tarred and feathered. And at the same time, the black men in the country who were free were mating with the tribes like the Apache and the Cherokee. And as a result of all that, we're a parade of every shade. And in this late day and age, you can be sure there ain't too many of us in this country whose bloodline is pure. But according to a geographical genealogy study published in Time magazine, the black African people were the first on the scene. So for what it's worth, the black African people were the first on earth, and through migration our characteristics started to change and rearrange to adapt to whatever climate we migrated to. And that's how I became me and you became you. So if we're going to go back, let's go all the way back. And if Adam was black and Eve was black, then that kind of makes it a natural fact that everybody in America is an African American. Everybody in Europe is an African European. Everybody in the Orient is an African Asian, and so on and so on. That is, if the origin of man is what we're going to go on. And if one drop of black blood makes you black like they say, then everybody's black anyway. So quit trying to change my identity. I'm already who I was meant to be. I'm a black American born and raised. And Brother James Brown wrote a wonderful phrase. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Because I'm proud to be black. And I ain't never lived in Africa. And because my great-great-granddaddy on my daddy's side did, don't mean I want to go back. Now, I have nothing against Africa. It's where some of the most beautiful places and people in the world are found. But I've been blessed to go a lot of places in this world. And if you ask me where I choose to live, I pick America, hands down. Now, by and by, we were called Negroes, and after a while, that name was banished. Anyway, Negro is just how you say black in Spanish. Then we were called colored, but shit, everybody's one color or another, and I think it's a shame that we hold that against each other. And it seems like we reverted back to a time when being called black was an insult, even if it was another black man who said that a fight would result, because we've been so brainwashed that black was wrong, till even the yellow niggas and the black niggas couldn't get along. But then came the 1960s, when we struggled and died to be called equal and black, and we walked with pride with our heads held high and our shoulders pushed back. And black was beautiful. But I guess that wasn't good enough, because now here they come with some other stuff. Who comes up with this shit anyway? Was it one or a group of niggas just sitting around one day? Feeling a little insecure again about being called black, and decided that African American sounded a little more exotic. Well, I think you were being a little more neurotic. It's that same mentality that got Amos and Andy put off the air because they were embarrassed about the way the characters spoke. And as a result of that action, a lot of wonderful black actors ended up broke when we were just laughing and having fun about ourselves. So I say, fuck you if you can't take a joke. You didn't see the Beverly Hillbillies being protested by white folks. And if you think that, of course you think that being called African American sets all black people's minds at ease, since we affectionately call each other nigger, I affectionately say to you, nigga, please. How come I didn't get a chance to vote on who I'd like to be? Who gave you the right to make that decision for me? I ain't under your rule or in your dominion, and I'm entitled to my own opinion. Now, there are some African Americans here, but they recently moved here from places like Kenya, Ethiopia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Zaire. But not a brother whose family's lived in this country for generations, occupying space in all the locations, New York, Miami, LA, Detroit, Chicago, even if he's wearing a dashiki and sporting an afro. And if you go to Africa in search of your race, you'll find out quick, you're not an African American. You're just a black American in Africa taking up space. Why you keep trying to attach yourself to a continent where even if you got the chance to go and you went, most people there wouldn't even claim you as one of them, as a purebred daughter or son of them. Your heritage is right here now, no matter what you call yourself or what you say. And a lot of people died to make it that way. And if you think America's the leader on inequality and suffering and grieving, how come there's so many people coming and so few leaving? Rather than all this fine thought with America shit you promoting, if you want to change something, use your privilege. Get to the polls, come and voting. God knows we've earned the right to be called American Americans and be free at last. And rather than you moving forward with progress, you're dwelling in the past. We struggled too long, we've come too far. Instead of focusing on who we were, let's be proud of who we are. We're the only people whose name is always a trend. When is this shit going to end? Look at all the different colors of our skin. Black is not our color, it's our core. It's what we've been living and fighting and dying for. But if you choose to be called African American and that's your preference, then I'll give you that reference. But I know on this issue I don't stand alone on my own. And if I do, then let me be me. And I'd appreciate it if when you see me, you say, there goes a man who says it loud. I'm black. I'm black. I'm a black American, and I'm proud. Because I love being an American. And I love being black. I love being called black. Yeah, I said it. And I don't take it back.
We, as people, must always stand ready to tear down the walls of what others will call being afraid to be oneself. I'm speaking to those who demonize who we are, who we were born to be. We were born to be ourselves. We were born as we are. We live in a country that have been through a lot in 200 years. But the facts remain that who we are is dysfunctional. I say that because of the Generation Zero, those who are trapped by poverty and no one speaking out for them. I say it because of Generation Zero, who are talked about behind their backs, saying that we are wasting our tax dollars on them. is hope to one to rise above adversity, then it's worth it. Then a child will know that the bigotry that most of us face every single day is truly over. I was proud to have the career I had, but I had to be somebody else to get the jobs that were out of my league, as I was told. I remember being a chef in New York, and because I wore jewelry, the manager pulled me to the side and told me that there is no drug dealing in the restaurant. And I looked him dead in his eyes and like my mother used to say, you can't change the way people see you. Some people are dead set in their beliefs. They want us to no longer talk about it, to no longer bring it up. But there are still those who count us down. We have never seen the stuff that's going on with any president than we are seeing with Obama. I may not agree with the brother, but when you see those who lead the charge, the old Confederate states, they're not leading the charge because he's Democratic. They're leading the charge because they don't want the first black president to be successful. When the Democrats were in control, they moved heaven and earth to get the economy back on the rails. You can't dispute those facts. They made sure that Americans who lost their job had job benefits, unemployment, food stamps. This is after Bush, who did 2 wars without paying for it. You don't bring that up, that he crashed our economy by being reckless with his policies. I lost my job being a head chef in Virginia behind 2008. And I refuse to hear that the argument is that Obama is making wild policies that's going to lead us down a ditch. We have more job growth than we have ever had after a depression. Yes, he's fighting for universal health care because if you are well, you can work longer. If you're healthy, you can do more. You can see retirement. Because America has become lazy. Sitting back on their couches, eating potato chips, drinking a soda pop with a remote in their hands. It used to be a good day was when you worked hard, sweated, and got home and knew that you had brought home the bacon, that you did your best. You loved your job. Now what's going on is ridiculous. These companies sitting on $1.6 trillion refusing to hire. Even the young kids can't get a summer job. will hate when I say that the resources of the poor are being snatched up by the middle class, but it is the truth. Don't just watch one station, watch them all. Don't just listen to one newspaper, read them all. I am tired of Generation Zero being blocked at every turn, looked down on, like it's their fault that they're not graduating from high school, moving on to college. They have no choice but to take a job and feed their brothers and sisters and make sure they got a roof over their head while their mother is working 2 jobs trying to put food on the table because she is a single mother. It wasn't us that caused this reality right now. And we must hold the older generations accountable for what they have allowed to happen. More cursing on TV, rap music that use explicit language. Allow our women to believe that they have to be sex objects to be somebody, to get somewhere. A report came out yesterday that there's more white people doing cocaine, weed, ecstasy, and all those things other than the blacks. But the blacks get more time in jail for doing or using or selling drugs. We gotta look at this system as a whole. Now they trying to squeeze us even more into poverty by saying that if we don't cut this money from the programs, we're not gonna have no future. This is the older generation that want to roll back the Great Society. They want to kill 4 million individuals, families, off food stamps. What they don't understand is that it's going to hurt more of the white people than it's going to hurt us. But they don't care. You can't hold somebody down that's already down. Our employment rate is the highest. A black man is more likely to be unhired than a white man. And it ain't because of education. It's because of ideology and what you believe. I hate to say it, but the Republican Party has never been a fan of the black man. We came over here slaves. We were taught to hate our name. We were raped and beaten and was taught to be oppressed. When we started rising up in the 50s and the 60s, they sicked the dogs on us, water hosed us. Don't tell me that the issue is not about race. You never have heard during the State of the Union when any other president, one of the senators yelling out, "You lie." Picturing Obama as a monkey, being called as the food stamp president, wanting to see his birth certificate. But you don't call that racism because we shouldn't talk about it anymore. You're getting tired of being beaten over the head, but we're talking to those who are directly violating our rights. We're more American than you could ever be because we were doing the crops and raising the cotton and working the tobacco fields. Don't tell me not to worry about race when Wachovia and Bank of America can be traced back to slavery. And yet they still stand today. The only time that this country apologized for slavery was Obama getting elected. Finally, Congress said they apologized for slavery. But where the 40 acres at and the moon? I want interest for our young people, for Generation Zero. Not just blacks, but the Puerto Ricans, the Asians, the whites that are held down because they live in trailer parks or the projects or the ghetto. If you never grew up there and gone through the experience of living there, being poor to the point that you had nothing, making syrup sandwiches, making mayonnaise sandwiches. Don't tell me that I can't talk about it. Don't tell me that I can't address the issue. My mother was a single parent. She may have abused us, but she tried to raise us the best she could. We ended up in the projects because my father was locked up. The odds of me being locked up over my head was 2-1. I made the choice to have faith and believe in God. I get demonized because I'm half Buddhist and half Christian. When they don't understand what Buddhist means or what the Buddhism is really all about. It's about understanding suffering and knowing that suffering is beautiful. I'm tired of sitting around listening to people speak and not understanding what's going on. What's going on is the reality of the fact that we broke as a country. They just came out the other day and said that we are 100% in debt ratio to the GDP. If you know nothing about fiat currencies and how gold used to be attached to money until it was taken away in the 70s. And it became a runaway currency. Until you understand that other countries, other states are setting bets up that we're going to fall and fail. You talking about our future now. Y'all have lived our life. I refuse to let Generation Zero now have a future. I may be disabled, dealing with my own issues of having people disrespect me and talk down to me because I'm disabled. I feel the same way about being part African American. I'm assumed to be black just because the tint of my skin, but I'm more Caribbean, which is mixed with everything. Indian and Dutch and French and so many other races that made me predisposed to lupus. That's why I'm disabled. We are all mixed. pretending that Egypt ain't a part of Africa where Moses led his people out. I'm tired of them acting like Israel wasn't full of black people when you talk about the Canaanites. Everybody pretending you're not a Jew, you're a Christian. Jesus was a Jew. What makes your whole idea that Jesus was Christian ludicrous? And the slaves were beaten, raped, and made to learn the Bible. Often told the very story of forgive 70 times 7 and turn the other cheek. That's what we had to deal with our history. We don't even know the language we once spoke or the tribe we came from. We don't have no heritage but the American fake dream that's possible for some and not possible for all. Let's not talk about that we on equal footing, because we ain't never been on equal footing. We are humbling ourselves now because we're trying to be better than their ancestors and the forefathers before us. But I'm telling you, you don't want to bet against Generation Zero. They done been called outcasts. Social services left them in the dumps that they've been in. They are being raped and molested. They are being pimped out. They will never make it out of those neighborhoods. They go back generation by generation in those neighborhoods. The kids have no hope. The teachers talk about it in the teachers' lounge. And don't tell me they don't, because I've been in multiple schools. My aunt was a teacher. My mother was a teacher. My sister going to school to be a teacher. I didn't have the heart to do it in the inner city because they were set up to fail from the beginning. They don't even get the resources other schools get. I'm telling you, this is a rude awakening. Generation Zero deserves better. They deserve a seat at the table and decide their future. Instead of have Congress cutting everything that benefits the children. I don't care nothing about the adults. I don't sway one way or another. I'm not Republican, I'm not Democratic. I love Ron Paul. I'm not ashamed to speak out when it's time. And it's time for us to speak out. Because the voiceless is about to lose the homes that they have. They're about to become poor. If you don't know what it's like to make $13,000 in a year, don't talk to me about what I'm saying now. Because I'm on home territory. I have lived both ends of the spectrum. I have respect for those who open the door for me. But I'm not going to lie. I had to jump through hoops and pretend that I didn't see them make comments out their mouth. Asking, can I call you a nigger? Will you be offended? It's time to wake up.